sharing with you in this video how to take action when you feel anxiety and fear. And so this video is really going to be the difference between if you become a person that rises above their negative emotions, they rise above the challenges in their life, they rise above all the things that are feeling like it's causing them resistance in their life, or if you become a person that actually becomes victim to all of these things. You become victim to your problems, you become a victim to all your circumstances. And so really what we want to do is to step into our creative power, where we see that we generate our state of being from within. Nothing external has to happen in a particular way in order for you to be connected to the source of who you are. And then so the first thing that I want to share with you in this video in terms of how to actually do this and how to take action when you feel anxiety and fear is to understand that action actually removes fear. That's ultimately the truth of the situation, is that when you can start to take action, when you can start to take consistent action and then replace fear with action, what you'll find is that fear ultimately goes away. And so the problem is that many people can get stuck in a state of waiting where they're trying to find out how to remove the fear first so that then they can feel ready to take action. And that's a problem, because if you wait for this day, if you wait for the day to finally feel ready to take action, what you'll find is that you continue waiting, and then you keep waiting, and then you wait some more, and then that day, of course, never comes, because you're looking for fulfillment and happiness in some future moment, when of course the present moment will always be sort of projecting this future image of you feeling happy in the present moment, when you have to realize that the true peace, the true abundance, the true, kingdom of heaven that exists within you, so to speak, is in the present moment right now. You're not going to find it in the past. You're not going to find it in the future. And what you'll find is that if you immediately replace a fear with action in this present moment, as if the problem was already solved, as if you already have what you want, you sort of show life that you're going to take action because you believe that it is true. What you'll find is that you rebuke the fear. The fastest way to rebuke fear is with immediate and radical action towards your desire. And a lot of people don't want to do this. They don't want to take action. They don't want to take radical action. They want to stay stuck in their head and then be scared and then fearful, but then they want to get the result. And if you really want to get the results in your life, you have to transform into a new person where you radically take action against your fears. That's really what it's going to come down to. That's who you're going to have to be if you want to create what you want in your life, is to program yourself to see that radical action is going to remove the fear from your life. If you want to remove fear in the fastest way possible, oftentimes fear and anxiety and negativity is nothing more than your emotional guidance system telling you that you're lacking action in a particular area. That's all it is. It's your body telling you that you're lacking action in a particular area. So if you can start to notice this and then see that your body and then the universe and life and, so to speak, God, your highest conscious self, is communicating to you which direction to go in, instead of fighting with the present moment, you start to actually flow with it. And then when you get your hand burned on the stove, rather than keeping your hand on the stove and then letting all this pain happen and this chaos happen, you tell yourself, wait a second, I can just take my hand off the stove and stop inflicting pain upon myself. And so similarly, in a similar way, you can just stop living in a state of stagnation and fear and just causing all this pain for yourself by choosing to stay there, which, yes, of course, it is a choice. And then instead, you can replace that with consistent action towards your desire. Again, as if it is already the case in this present moment time right now. And so the second thing that I want to share with you in this video in terms of how to take action when you feel anxiety and fear is to understand that you create meaning to the present moment. It's not the external world that creates meaning. So when you have a negative situation that happens in your life and you tell yourself, this means that I shouldn't be what I want to be in my life, this means something negative or a problem of some kind, you have to understand that it's not the external world actually doing this, it's actually you. You're slapping all the meaning. The external world is what it is. You know what I mean? Stuff happening in your life is just forms happening in your life. Your interpretation of that is up to you. Now, this process can be happening consciously or unconsciously, but this video is bringing attention and awareness to this process, which is what we're trying to do here, is to make it more conscious. So again, the best analogy is, why is it that one person can look at a rainy day and feel happy about that? They feel very happy about a rainy day. A rainy day makes them feel happy and makes them feel excited, and then they feel, positive emotions, and they love a rainy day. Whereas another person might look at that same phenomena, same experience, same situation, same rainy day, but they look at that and they think that's disgusting, that's depressing, I don't like that, that doesn't make me feel good. And then so why is that the case? Why is it that one person can react to the same phenomena in a different way? Why is it that somebody, when it comes to creating their goal, can execute a very particular kind of structure, some sort of plan, and they get the results? Why is it that another person follows the exact same structure and they simply can't get the result? Because of course it's the person doing it and the place that they're coming from. It's not always just the plan. It's not always just the structure. It's how you're doing what you're doing. So if you want to take action when you feel anxiety and fear, what you want to start to do is to notice where you're creating all that negative meaning in your life, and to start to take responsibility for that. And not responsibility for the fact that it's happening in the first place, but to see that from that point of consciousness that you can now change it. Because like the patterns that are playing from your unconscious mind, the fears and the worries and the negativity, it's like, is that really, was it up to you? You know what I mean? Was that really, you doing that? Because at the end of the day, it was just stuff happening. It's just emotions sort of arising. And the question is like, is it really you? Or do you want to connect to a more true space where you can take all of that, see it for what it is, not resist it, but then instead choose what you want instead. Choose your preference instead. See that you, as consciousness, can choose the meaning that resonates for you, that doesn't feel like it's making you feel sluggish or weighing you down, not being able to create what you want. When you can start to notice the meaning that you create in the present moment and then choose the meaning that resonates more for you to help you create your goals, what you'll find is that you become your own support system again. You start to be able to support yourself to be able to create what you want. And if you have negative self-talk, you just ignore it. You stop believing in it. So not only do we want to start to notice the meaning that we're creating, we also want to notice when we're attaching to negative things as well, which is the final thing that I want to share with you in this video, which is to really give you a permission slip to understand that you are safe to ignore it. You are safe to ignore anxiety and fear. And so this might sound simple, but it's like, I want to make it so clear, because so many people can get lost in an idea and a paradigm of thinking that there's something wrong with them if they don't just ignore negative emotions that don't resonate for them. They think that there's something wrong. They think that that makes them cold-hearted, or that they're not being a person of respect, or that they're not being a person of honor. But you have to understand that your peace should be your highest priority. And remember, you're not able to serve other people in life if you don't serve yourself first. So why is it that in an airplane, when an emergency happens, why is it that there's a rule to always put your own mask on first? Why? Because if you start losing oxygen, if you start losing consciousness within yourself, you're not going to be of any use to the person around you. You're not going to be of any benefit to the people around you. So in other terms, if you can't love yourself, if you can't provide value to yourself, if you can't find peace, happiness, and joy within yourself without looking to it for the external world, how are you going to be able to provide true support for other people and the love that they're looking for if you haven't even learned how to love yourself? So what you want to start to do is learn how to just give yourself the permission slip to just safely ignore negative emotions, negative thoughts that don't resonate with the decision that you set upon to create or be something in your life. It's just that simple. We make it more complicated because we believe that we have to. You see what I'm saying? So if you believe that you have to make it more complicated and that it has to be harder and that you have to believe in negative emotions, well, then this is the reality that you create for yourself. If you as consciousness Give yourself permission to say that, you know what? No longer am I going to believe in negativity. You rebuke it. You speak against it. You speak to the concern and you say that, you know what? I see it. I acknowledge it. I accept it. I fully allow it as a part of existence, but I no longer want to stay there. I no longer want to stay there. And then so you're safe to ignore it and then move on to something else. So it's not about not feeling your emotions. It's not about not being totally present to the moment and then feeling every single thing or spiritually bypassing or running away from your feelings. It's about feeling it fully moving into it, and then simply just making a decision to move on and ignore the problem. Ignore the problem. The art of avoidance is a real thing. And it's not about avoiding negative emotions in the sense that you don't feel them. It's about feeling them and then just choosing your preference instead. You have full permission to choose your preference and what resonates for you instead and doesn't make you feel tired and sluggish. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to take days for yourself to do what feels recharging to you. You're allowed to do the things that make you feel recharged. You're allowed to be selfish in the sense that you put your energy first so that then you can be a provider and a person of value for other people because your cup is so full. You can't really help pour people's cup if you have nothing in your cup to even give. You want to be able to provide that self-love to yourself, and then to give yourself permission to ignore the negative situations, giving yourself even more self-love. And then from there, it becomes much easier to just take action on what you want to do, to go full circle. Because if you can just ignore negativity, give yourself permission to stop believing in it, stop giving it attention, just keep it simple, don't make it complicated, stop giving negative things attention and energy that don't resonate for you. Not that you're running away from them, just don't feed into things that are not helping you grow into helping you be who you want to be. When you fully just let it be the case that you're allowed to do that, watch how easy it is to then take action. Watch how much more excited you are to challenge your fears. Challenging your fears stops becoming a burden. What feels more like a burden is by staying stuck in a state of stagnation and not challenging your fears. And that's a really positive place to be. That's a positive upward spiral where what causes you more stress and anxiety is not challenging your fears. Oftentimes when we're in an extreme state of negativity and density, we believe that taking action is going to make us feel worse and that it's going to be harder. But oftentimes what we don't realize is that action will take you out of your mind and into the present moment, and then you feel better. And then when you build momentum, actually not taking action feels worse. So you've successfully reprogrammed yourself to see that taking action and going against your fear and challenging your anxieties is technically the easier path, whereas all at the beginning it might seem like the harder path. It might seem like the path of more resistance, but you choose to break out of your conditioning. You break out of the paradigm of the past or the future even, and you step back into the present of being who you want to be because it resonates for you.